Hey guys, this is Drama Queen 129 and welcome to part 2 of our Everlasting Summer playthrough. I have tried so many times to record this episode, but it just didn't sound good, so we're going back again. So I know a little bit of what happens, but not too much. I just know that we meet some of the girls. I'm going to change up some of the accents a little bit. The girl that I called Crab, her name is actually Slavia, and I'm going to give her a somewhat Russian accent. We meet a couple girls in this playthrough, a really bitchy girl that I'm going to give like a really valley girl sort of accent to. And I'm just excited to get to meet these girls. I haven't heard too much about them, so I'm ready to get into the story of this. I was about to come closer when the door suddenly opened and a short girl wearing a pioneer uniform came out. Her pretty face gave me the impression of one suffering for the fate of the whole of mankind with a truly universal sorrow. She sounds like Yuri from Doki Doki Literature Club. As soon as she saw me, the girl froze as if frightened. I froze too, considering what was the best to do, to approach first or wait until she showed some initiative. Or maybe run away after all. He's obsessed with doing that. Although this last option was constantly being suggested only by my self-preservation instinct, at least that's what I'd like to believe. Not the worst human instinct, but far from the most logical. If this instinct played poker against deductive abilities, the outcome would be predetermined. These words he's using. And those deductive abilities, or at least their semblance, were hinting to me that there was no need to be afraid of this girl. Aww. She's so cute. She's tiny, though. Is she young? It says all the girls in the thing are over 18, and they've given their consent to be in this, but... A girl wearing a bright red t-shirt with USSR written on it. What are you talking about? It says CCCP. I'm kidding. Such a perfect reproduction of the age. She looked quite short from a distance and was probably younger than both pioneer girls, the one at the gates and this girl at the door of the clubs. At last I decided to come closer, but the USSR, as I called her in my mind, jumped towards the first girl and started telling her something while wildly waving her arms. The other girl in turn seemed confused, remaining silent. I would have probably continued to observe their amusing dialogue, but the USSR suddenly pulled something out of her pocket and started waving it in front of the first girl's face. No! This something turned out to be a grasshopper. Oh my god, grasshoppers are my worst fear, if you know me. They're just like, I don't know why. It's something about the way they can jump really fast, and I hate living down here in Florida so close to them. Eee! The first girl squealed. She must not be too keen on insects, as she instantly rushed off towards the place where Lenin presumably made his speech about the workers and the peasants' revolution. Those eyes on her, though, it's some Doki Doki stuff. That is to say, towards the square. Oh, goodbye. The USSR glanced at me, grinned playfully, and dashed after her. Not a bad start to the day. I have absolutely no clue where I am. Besides that, there are some kids here role-playing as pioneers. And as far as I can tell, this place is located thousands of kilometers away from my home. It might even be a different reality. And this was indeed a reality. I mean, everything around me seemed so real, if a little embellished, that I was starting to think that, in fact, my previous life could have just been a dream. And what am I supposed to do now? Ugh. I was picking at the cracked paving stones with my shoe and staring aimlessly at the club's building. Just few more seconds before I had to come up with some decision. That's when I recalled myself rolling on the grass, weeping. I cringed in disgust. It's so cringe, bro. Perhaps it's another instinct. When all energy for whimpering and self-pitying is used up, the body either goes into hibernation or immobilizes its reserves. Mine seemed to have chosen the second option, because out of the blue I found the determination to figure out what was going on, and in order to do that I had to act like a man, like a human, to maintain the dignity of a representative of my own world. What the hell is he even talking about? I followed the path to the left, on the right side of which stood some small cabins, apparently the homes of the local pioneers. Actually, they looked quite cozy from the outside. Even though I was born in the Soviet Union, I had never been part of its children's organizations, neither the pioneers nor even the younger October children. I mean, I've heard of that, but I don't really know, anything about it. I imagine the daily life of a typical pioneer camp a bit differently. Huge barracks with long rows of metal bunks, wake-up call at 6 o'clock played by a siren, 1 minute to make your bed, then joining the formation at the drill square. Or wait, could I be confusing it with something else? What the hell was that? Doesn't it look like a rupee? Like a Zelda rupee, almost? That little flag on the right pioneer building? Something suddenly struck me on the back. I staggered but remained on my feet, turned around and prepared to fight heroically for my life. Oh, hello. That's a bit skanky looking, that outfit, but whatever. But all I found was another girl standing before me, my mouth hung open in surprise. Pick your jaw up off the ground. I closed my mouth. The same pioneer uniform, but the way she was wearing it looked, let's say, provocative. Like all the girls I had met here before, this one was rather cute, but her overly arrogant expression killed any desire to get to know her better. Well, let me decide that. I'm the one playing this romance game. You let me decide. New here, are you? Fine. See ya. She threw a threatening glance at me and walked past. I waited for the pioneer girl to turn at the corner. Who knows what else she might have been up to. The most interesting thing was that even this hostile girl seemed completely normal to me. She did not give out the feeling of some deadly danger, except maybe the danger of getting punched in the nose. At last I managed to make it to the square. There was no Lenin on an armored car, although one could easily expect something like that after all this had happened. Sorry, my voice is a little cracky. I've got them allergies. Instead, however, a monument to a certain comrade towered in the middle of the square. The letters on the pedestal read Genda. This must be some big figure in the party. There were some small benches at the sides. It's quite pleasant here. Where did that girl tell me to go? To the left or to the right? To the left, to the right, to the left, to the right. I'm pretty sure she said to the left. I don't know. And why am I going there anyway? Ah, right. I've decided to pretend to be normal. So, to the right. Just so you know, I'm a left-handed person, and that kind of offends me. Through a small grove. I came out at a pier. I must have taken a wrong turn. Hey, wrong way! I turned towards the voice. Ooh, look at the shine on her boob. That first girl stood before me. Now what did I tell you? Take a left at the square, wasn't it? She had changed from her pioneer uniform into a bikini. Oh, I still haven't introduced myself. My name is Slavia. Actually, my full name's Slaviana, but everyone calls me Slavia. So you can too? Yeah. I still felt a bit confused, so I could not come up with more meaningful answers. And what's your name? I felt like she could see right through me. Semyon. Nice to meet you, Semyon. Alright, I'm almost done here. Could you wait a minute? I'm going to change and we'll go to Olga Dmitrievna together. Agreed? Agreed. After this exchange, she ran off. I sat on the pier and let my feet hang into the water. I was wearing heavy winter boots, but in such weather there was nothing wrong in getting my feet wet. Furthermore, it let me cool myself a little. Looking at the river, I was brainstorming and processing everything that has happened. If this is some kind of conspiracy, it's a weird one, even too friendly at times. No, it really looks like a random event. Some entirely incomprehensible random event. Shall we go? Slavia was standing beside me, dressed in the pioneer uniform again. Let's go. I've been here for a very short time, but of all the people I've met, she looks the least suspicious. I don't know, I'd say she looks the most suspicious. You know, you got this Russian girl just being all sweet to you, you know? However, this fact is already suspicious itself. That's what I'm trying to say. We walked to the square. The USSR girl and the girl who hit me on the back were there, chasing each other. Is that some kind of game they're playing? Uliana, enough running. I'll tell everything to Olga Dmitrievna. Aye, aye, Captain. She's getting a country accent. She's young, she's cute, she's getting a country accent. I decided not to question Slavia for a while about what was going on with the local residents. Better meet with this mysterious Olga Dmitrievna first. Sounds like she's the boss here. We walked past the rows of almost identical cabins, some of which look like fat beer barrels, while others look more like household sheds. Finally, Slavia stopped in front of the smallish one-story cabin. It looks like an artist's painting. The faded paint, chipping here and there with age, was sparkling in the sun. The window shutters, slightly ajar, were swaying almost unnoticeably in the wind, and huge lilac bushes were growing at the sides. It seemed as if this ramshackle hut was drowning in a storm of purple silk, and the lilacs, like some elemental force, were inexorably destroying the troop leader's house. What are you standing around for? Let's go. Slavia snapped me out of my daydreaming. And stop teasing Lena already. What the fuck? Rena? What the fuck is going on? Sounds like there's someone inside. Indeed, a moment later, the door swung open, and Uliana ran out and dashed past with the same mischievous grin. The pigtail girl came out next. Don't let it bother you, Lena. So her name is Lena. Gotta be thankful it's not Rena, at least. But I don't... Instead of finishing her sentence, she blushed and quickly headed towards the square. For some reason, I felt like turning and following her with my eyes, but Slavia said, Come. Oh, I will, baby girl. We entered the cabin. Inside it looked something similar to what I'd imagined. 2 beds, a table, a couple of chairs, a simple carpet on the floor, a wardrobe. Nothing special, but at the same time it felt homelike and cozy, although this room was almost in the same state of disorder as my own flat. Oh. The girl standing near the window appeared to be about 25 years old. Nature had obviously gifted her with a pretty face and good body. At least one thing could keep you happy in this pandemonium. The locals are beautiful. I've got to figure out a voice to give her. 1 second. Alrighty, we've decided on a low, seductive. You're finally here. Excellent. My name is Olga Dmitrievna. I'm the camp leader. Nice to meet you. I'm Semyon. I decided to talk as if I wasn't surprised by anything that was going on. She came closer. We've been expecting you since early morning. You've been expecting me? Yes, of course. And when does the next bus come? And why do you need it? You're right, why would I need it? Guess I shouldn't ask direct questions. The people here may react to them quite unlike how I'd prefer, and I doubt I'd get any answers. No reason, I'm just curious. Look at that girl's face! By the way, where are we exactly? Our mailing address, I mean. I wanted to send a letter to my parents to tell them I got here fine. I feel like he's negotiating with terrorists. For some reason, I had the desperate idea that if I played along, I would find something out. Oh, but your parents called just half an hour ago. Sent their regards to you. Now that's a surprise. So can I call them? Because I forgot to tell them something before I left. No. She gave me a sweet, spontaneous smile. What a crazy bitch. Why not? We don't have a phone here. Then how can my parents make a call to here? I've just come back from the district's central town. I talked with them there. Oh, so that's how it is. And can I somehow get to the town? No. She kept the same smile. Why not? Because the next bus only comes in a week. I decided not to inquire how the troop leader managed to get there and back. I would get no answer anyway. All this time, Slavia was standing next to me and seemed to find nothing odd in our conversation. Oh, we need to find a uniform for you. I've got absolutely no desire to put on pioneer shorts or to wear the ridiculous red neckerchief. However, wearing winter clothes in summer isn't a great idea either. Right, thank you. I wonder if I'm the only one here who finds it strange that someone's wearing a coat and winter boots in such heat. Radio, I'll be off then, and you can get yourself acquainted with the camp. Don't forget to come to dinner in the evening. Having said that, she walked out of the cabin. No, walked is not the right word. She rushed out. I ended up alone with Slavia. I must go too. Got things to do. Take a walk, look around the camp a bit. See you in the evening. Is there no threat or catch to this than this reality, as embodied by Slavia, becomes more and more appealing? For the first time today, I realized that it is awfully hot here. Although, obviously, my winter clothes were to blame for that. I took off my coat and dropped it onto the bed, my pullover following it. I was now wearing only the shirt. That's much better. All I could do now was follow their advice and go look around the camp. I'll try to find something out in the meantime. Passing the local residential district, I saw a pioneer guy coming my way. And it was really a pioneer guy, not a pioneer girl. Apparently there were men even in the kingdom of Amazons. Hello, you're new here. You must be Semyon, right? And how do you... Everyone knows already. I'm electronic, by the way. The real one. You can call me that. Electronic was a robot character appearing in popular Soviet film and book series. He looked like an exact copy of a school kid called Sergei Chizikov. Alright. Uliana also calls me Cheesy. Cheesy? On toast with mushrooms? Because my last name is Chizikov. I see. Let me show you around. I accepted his offer, as it would have taken much longer to get to know the place alone. Fine, let's go. We ended up at the square again, as if this place was all there is to the camp. Lena was sitting on one of the benches reading some book. Electronic confidently approached her. Hello, Lena. Meet the new guy, Semyon. He started briskly. Hello. Well, you could say we've already met, in a way. Yes. She looked away from the book for a moment, glanced at me, blushed, and went back to reading, as if not noticing that we were still here. All right, let's go on. I was at first surprised that meeting this girl was reduced to a couple of words, but then I thought it was better that way. Electronics' vigorous activity did not fit well with Lena's shyness. Let's go. Next we came to a building which I instantly identified as a canteen. And this here... I know, this is where you consume organic food. Yeah, something like that. On the canteen's porch stood the unfriendly girl who hit me on the back earlier. At the sight of her, my joking mood vanished in the blink of an eye. Really, now is not the best time to be pulling this guy's leg, even though he is quite hilarious. How the hell has he shown you that? First I need to figure out what's what here, or at least where I am. Her over there, that's Alyssa Dvachevskaya. Be careful around her. He spoke in a whisper. Dva means two in Russian. The whole nickname sounds like exactly Tuch in Russian, a reference to the late Chucharu anonymous image board. Don't ever risk calling her Divacek. She doesn't like that. Oh, do you hear that music? Oh, yeah. What? And what did you say? What did you call me? She must have heard him. In the blink of an eye, Alyssa jumped down from the porch and dashed toward us. Alright, you manage from here onwards. Electronic took to his heels. I know all of these choices affect things, but I'm actually going to stand up to this girl. I don't see any reason to not stand up to her. Alyssa, running past, stopped for a moment and growled. I'll deal with you later. Deal with me? What did I do wrong? I added a forced guilty smile to my words. What am I guilty of? She made no reply and carried on chasing Electronic. Huh. Looks like I have to kill time alone waiting for dinner. I decided to go east, at least in the direction where east would be in my world. Soon after, I found myself near a football pitch. The game was in full swing there. I guess watching it for a bit wouldn't do any harm. In my childhood and teen years, I was not a bad player myself and even thought of going professional, but a few injuries in a row killed my desire to risk my health for the sake of uncertain chance in the game. Isn't that how it always goes? Like, you're playing a sport, but then you get injured and then you can't play that sport anymore? It's like, why even bother, you know? Kids of different ages were running around the pitch. I could see a boy of about 10 and a girl of about 14 years old. Sorry, I got a text message. A girl. Hey, that's Juliana. Alright, so she plays football. What's so surprising? Oh, it's soccer. See, that's soccer in my world. She seems a restless one, after all. I was standing quite far from the pitch, but she still noticed me. Hey, you! Juliana shouted. Want to play? I didn't know how to answer. On the one hand, running around for 10 minutes is no big deal. On the other hand, any wrong move in my situation could be my final one. But in any case, my attire wasn't suitable for this weather. If I played in winter boots and warm jeans, I would sweat like a pig, and playing barefoot without jeans would be simply unethical. Maybe another time, alright? I shouted in response, turned around and walked back. I was followed by Uliana's screams about my pants or me being a pansy or something like that. Evening was falling, making me tired and empty after a day wasted with no real purpose. I came back to the square, sat down on a bench and gave an exhausted sigh. I'd better sit here and wait for dinner. After all, it's easier to search for answers when you're not hungry. They do give food to the people here, right? You know, it's curious how the simplest human needs can break the will to ponder on things, to strive for something. For example, I feel hungry now, so I care much less about where I am or what is happening to me. Could great people also be affected by this? And in that case, how did Spartacus start the slave uprising in ancient times? I can only conclude that I am not a great person, and it really does not matter which mechanism I serve as a gear in society, the Matrix, or a weird pioneer camp. Oh. It's dinner time, baby. My thoughts were interrupted by the sound of bells chiming from a loudspeaker on a light pole. It must be the dinner call. I headed towards the canteen. It was a good thing that now I knew where it was. Olga Dmitrievna was there, standing on the porch. I stopped and looked closely at her as if I were expecting something. She looked back at me for a while, but at last came closer. Semyon, what are you waiting for? Come in already. Guess nothing bad can happen if I go with her. My stomach backed me up there. Oh my God, that's a lot of people. The two of us went inside. The canteen looked like a canteen. If I had a chance to visit a factory canteen at some point in my life, this one was exactly the same, just maybe a bit cleaner and more modern. Metal chairs and tables, glazed tiles on the walls and on the floor, unsophisticated tableware with the occasional crack. Guess that's what a canteen in a pioneer camp is supposed to look like. Semyon, wait a moment. We'll find you a place to sit. She looked around the place. Duvachevskaya, hold it right there. Olga Dmitrievna shouted at Alyssa, who was passing by. What? What's up with your clothes? Anything wrong with them? Indeed, her attire looked somewhat provocative. Get your uniform nice and neat now. All right. Alyssa got her shirt right and walked past, shooting an unpleasant glare at me. So where can I find you a place to sit? There weren't a lot of free seats. Go over there next to Uliana. Yeah, it's fine. The food's already on the table, too. I had no other choice but to accept. In common Russian language, cutlet, is mince meat fried or baked in the shape of a ball or cylinder close to American patties. Compote is a drink made by boiling fresh or dried fruits in a large amount of water, compote in French. But it all looked so tasty I had no chance to resist. Hey! What do you want? I replied rather rudely to Uliana, who was sitting next to me. Why don't you want to play football with us? Because of my clothes, said I, pointing to the source of the problem. Well, all right then, eat. However, there wasn't much left to eat. The cutlet was missing from the plate. Only she could have done it. No, more precisely, none but Uliana could have done it. Give me back my cutlet. In a big family, you snooze, you lose. It can cost you a cutlet if you're careless. Give it back, I'm telling you. Attempt to take the cutlet or do not attempt it? I don't want to be rude to this girl. I actually, when I first saw the 5 girls, I was like, this is the one I want to romance. So I'm going to be nice to her. See, I don't have it. And indeed, Uliana's plate was empty. It seemed that this little girl eats as fast as she steals someone's cutlets. Take it easy, we'll work something out now. She grabbed my plate and ran off. There was no point in following her. If they wanted to poison me here, they could have done it in a much easier way. About a minute later, Uliana returned and handed me the plate with a steaming hot cutlet on it. Here's one for the starving. Thanks. It was all I could say. I was so hungry my suspicions were gone in a flash. I picked up the cutlet with my fork and... What the? Some bug. No, not a bug. An insect. It's got legs and it's wiggling. That was a loud noise. The plate fell to the floor and broke into pieces. The chair hit me hard on my leg while falling. I disliked insects since I was a child, but when the creepy crawlers appear on my plate, that's just way too much. You little... Liliana seemed ready for such a twist and was already at the door laughing as if she had just heard a fresh stand-up comedy joke. I dashed after her. We ran out of the canteen. We were just a few dozen meters apart, and I felt I could catch this little girl easily. We ran through the square, past the club's house, and ran out onto the forest path. I started to gasp for breath. I should have quit smoking, I guess. Uliana passed out of sight on the next turn. It can't be true that she managed to get away from me. It simply can't. I stopped and tried to catch my breath again. Ugh. Night was falling. Looks like I'm lost. It's a bad idea to stay in the woods at night. Better get back to the camp. However, I had absolutely no clue which way to go. Well, gotta choose at random. I wandered for quite some time in the forest and even thought of crying for help, but finally I saw the camp's fence and beyond the trees. Everything fell back into place. The bus is gone, I mumbled quietly. On the one hand, there was nothing strange about that. The bus couldn't just stay here forever. On the other hand, it meant there was someone driving, because buses do not drive themselves, or do they? This world seemed too normal, but every event here had at least 2 explanations for it, an ordinary, real, everyday explanation, and a surreal one. Certainly the driver could have just been off for a snack, and I left too soon, and that's why. In any case, this is not the place for me. Whether the bus drives itself or not was probably an important question, but it was much more important to know how I got here at all, and where this here was. The fields and the woods stretching toward the horizon had no answers. There was nothing familiar about them. A strange, odd, alien world. However, at the same time, it was absolutely not frightening. Either my self-preservation instinct decided to resign from its job, or all this running around the camp and the local pioneers had lulled me so much that their carefree normality, that I was simply forgetting what had happened to me just a couple of hours ago. Although I probably just had no strength left to worry. All I wanted was some peace, calmness. I wanted to just have a break from it all, and only after that would I continue looking for answers, ready and reloaded. However, that would be sometime later. And what about now? Can I allow myself to relax? It got completely dark, and in any case it was better to spend the night in the camp. I was about to head back when someone came up silently from behind. "Hello, what are you doing here so late?" It was Slavia standing before me. I was so surprised that I jumped. "So, you didn't catch Juliana, did you?" She smiled. I nodded disappointedly inside. No wonder. No one ever has. Yeah, she's a real rocket girl. She could have found better use for her energy than looking for adventures. "You must be hungry. You didn't manage to have dinner after all." Indeed, I had completely forgot about my hunger, but after these words of hers, my stomach drew attention to itself by giving a traitorous rumble. Slavia smiled. "Let's go then." "What, is the canteen still open?" "It's all right. I have the keys." "The keys?" "Yes, I have the keys to all facilities in this camp." "How come?" "Well, I'm something like the camp's leader's aide here." "I see. Well, let's go." It was an offer you can't refuse. When we reached the square, Slavia stopped in her tracks. "Excuse me, I should warn my roommate that I'll be late, so she's so punctual herself that she'll be worried otherwise. You can go to the canteen and I'll be coming in a minute, all right?" "All right." Sorry I'm not reading these perfectly. It's like reading a book, you get a few words wrong. I really did not expect to find somebody aside from myself there at such a late hour, and that somebody was apparently trying hopelessly to open the door. Without any secret thoughts, I walked up to the porch. The lockpicker turned out to be Alyssa. I should have probably kept off and waited. She looked at me intently for a while, then said, "Don't just stand there. Give me a hand or something." "Meaning?" "Help me open the door." "Why?" "'Cause I want some buns and kefir. Dinner wasn't big enough." Is this really a good idea?" "Aren't you hungry yourself, huh?" "Well, Liana didn't let you have a normal dinner, did she?" She smiled sarcastically. It's true, she didn't. "It's fine. Slavia will come now and—" "What?" Guess I shouldn't have said that. "I'm off then. And you'll pay for this. You owe me 2 already." Having said that, Alyssa disappeared into the night. And what was the first one? Slavia didn't keep me waiting for too long. "Is everything all right?" "Yeah, why are you asking?" "No reason. It's nothing." It would be better if I didn't tell her about Alyssa. "Everything's fine." I said that and then immediately heard a note of dishonesty in my voice. "Well, shall we go?" As for Slavia, she seemed not to have noticed anything, or at least she was pretending she hadn't. We entered the canteen. "Wait a bit. I'll go get something." I sat down on a chair and obediently waited for my savior. Oh. Dinner was simple, a few buns and a glass of kefir. No wonder. I bet hungry pioneers finished everything off. However, even that was far better than most of my usual diet. Slavia sat across the table and looked at me while I was eating. Is there something on my face? "No, just—" Oh, she's smiling right at the camera. It's creeping me out. She smiled. "So how did you like your first day in the camp?" "Well, I don't really know." It's silly to ask someone who suddenly found himself in a different reality whether he liked the food in the canteen, the camp leader, or his assigned hut. "It's alright, you'll soon get used to it." Slavia stared out the window dreamily. Frankly speaking, I have no desire to get used to such things, but as for her, she doesn't know. Or at least she wants me to think that she doesn't. Well, all in all, it's nice here. I had to somehow break the awkward silence. "Do you think so?" She asked without any interest. "Yeah, this place is so—" I wanted to say retro, but I managed to hold that back. After all, it was retro for me, but what about them? It might be the only kind of life they knew. If the term life was applicable here at all. "So how?" She watched me closely, as if something important depended on my answer. "Well, I don't know. Lovely. Yeah, it's lovely here." "I guess you're right." She smiled again. "It's very good that you think so." "Why?" "Well, not everyone likes it here." "And what about you?" "Me?" "Yes." "I love it here. It's great." "Then you don't need to worry about what other people think." "Well, I don't really worry." Slavia laughed. This conversation seemed to be leading far astray from where I wanted to get to. "And you're worried yourself." "Really? Why do you say so?" "Well, when someone is chewing so intensely." "I'm sorry." "It's okay." I couldn't bring myself to be more cautious around this girl. But why her in particular? Why not any other local inhabitant? Every one of them looked completely normal to me, precisely normal, so normal it sends chills down my spine and into my marrow. Normal, not like a neighbor with a power drill in one hand and a subwoofer in the other. Not like a passenger you often meet in a subway or on public transit. Not like a co-worker at the next table in an open plan office. Okay, how many examples are you going to give? And not even like a friend who only differs from other humans in his constant insistence. All of them looked normal, as I would expect them to be, with their own downsides but without any superpowers. And Slavia was also cute? I glanced at her stealthily, not knowing what to say. I'm sorry, I wanted to show you the camp, but ran off my feet. I didn't miss anything while on my own, I guess. Are you sure you haven't missed anything at all? She smiled so brightly that I had to drop my eyes in confusion. Well, how would I know? It's my first day here. Okay, and what have you seen so far? Seen the square, the canteen, the football field. And what about the beach? Just from afar. You really should go there. Or let's do it together. Yeah, okay, we will. Her naturalness started to scare me, but then I thought, what if everything that happens here is supposed to be, and this world looks strange only to me, while for them it is normal? Maybe I was thrown into the past. Yes, that would explain a lot. Can I ask a stupid question? No. Slavia smiled and stood up from the table. It's late. Can you find the way to Olga Dmitrievna's by yourself? Of course I can, but why should I go there? She'll settle you with someone. What for? Probably this question seemed stupid because Slavia bursted into her good-natured laughter. You need to sleep somewhere, right? That makes sense. Fine, I'll be off then. Good night. Night. It's strange that she left in such a hurry. A bunch of keys left in the door lock caught my attention. I was going to catch up to Slavia, but where does she live? And knocking on every door in the middle of the night doesn't sound like a bright idea. Take them. I better take them. I'll give them back tomorrow because who knows what happens here at night. Such thoughts gave me chills. It's me who needs to be careful here in the first place. If I leave those keys in there, someone will unlock the door, aka Alyssa. The night, though dark, wasn't silent at all. One could hear chirping crickets, the songs of the night birds, rustling trees from everywhere. A sudden desire to follow Slavia's advice and go to the camp leader's cabin appeared. I don't know why, but the sight of an unknown bronze builder of communism put me in a constructive mood. I sat on the bench and started to recall everything that happened today. This was all my constructive mood could offer. Here was much brighter than near the canteen, and tardy pioneers were running by, so this place didn't seem scary at all. Bus, summer camp, girls. I was so tired from everything new and strange that I could not come up with a single explanation for what was going on. I heard a barely noticeable rustle nearby. I shivered and looked in that direction. A girl. With that cliffhanger, I'm actually going to leave it here because I've got to edit this video down because I had a lot of allergies during this video. Sorry if I missaid any words, misread. And luckily there shouldn't be too many noises in the background, but stay tuned for part 3 coming soon, and also stay tuned for another Sims video that I'm going to be doing. So love you guys, and goodbye!